Hey, how you going? Daniel here from Deep House Landscaping and Deep House Bonsai. And today I've got a little melaleuca. This one now has been in training for, I think we're on their second year. These are nursery stock. They're straight up. I'll show you a picture in a sec. And then we brought it down and I've been creating these pads. Melaleucas are wonderful trees. They smell fragrant. They're easy to care for. And you have this fantastic bark, actually. And you have this fantastic bark that you can have it so it's like paper. It's called paper bark in Australia. And we peel it back and it can be bright white, like an aspen, or you can have it like peely and gnarly, like some really old ancient tree. And you can do it from a very young age because, well, you guessed it, because the bark peels like paper. So here we go. I'm just bringing these down to pads, these branches. Just going to cut it back, almost a shear if you will. So this species of melaleuca has a little tiny purple flower, although I haven't seen it yet, mainly because I keep trimming it like this. Now I'm trimming like this to get a ramification in. Traditionally I go back to like the first leaf. We're still doing structure and form here, so it doesn't really matter sometimes to leave a little bit extra, and I can go back in later on and cut that out. I am looking to clear up anything growing inwards. I want everything kind of growing outwards, and I want it higher in the middle than out the ends. On this, I suppose, I'm thinking some star-destroying battleships out of Star Wars is my aim right now. It won't be my final goal, but I'm wanting that sort of triangular shape coming out. And then as the tree develops and gets thicker, that also will change as I go. But for now, I'm just taking it back, letting some light in. The scissors are a bit dirty. Make sure you clean your scissors. Secateurs, as we call them in Australia. With our bonsai shears, the scissors. These are Felcos. I love these little guys. They're the 322s. 322 Felco. A great pair of shears. Really wide purpose. Got a little spring in them, so they're great for this sort of work. Easy to clean and keep sharp. So just going through and then systematically taking all these back. You end up with a lot of really nice little shoots. I'll quite often put these in a vase. They smell wonderful. So melaleuca, it's an Australian native. I believe this variety is native to New South Wales. Actually, no, Victoria. I stand corrected. The coastline of Victoria. You see a similar species growing along the Santa Monica, it's all twisted and gnarled. These make great bonsais. They make great hedges too. They really do toporize very well. And they're a very forgiving tree. Not prone to many pests. Melaleuca is also a well-known usage, at least for incense, varieties of it, the tea tree. Just has a wonderful aroma. It makes a really great plant. Look at this electric green color it has. It gets really dense. You can go in there and clean that up. I've got quite a few to cut today, so I'm not really looking to do much structural work, although you'll start noticing branches come all the way through. I'm just going to take this out just to open up this area. You've got to go back in sometimes and clean up the trunk lines and make sure you got nothing going straight up, nothing from the undersides, nothing growing inwards, and everything has room to grow and has access to light. We're also looking for triangles. And you say, why triangles? Well, triangles gives us access to light everywhere. It adds depth and perception. And, it's also the strongest number, because it's the strongest number in nature, being the pyramid. It's the strongest number being pi. And, all our religions and faiths tend to have the power of three. Father, Son, the Holy Ghost. So 3 is a very important number in I suppose, the planet or just in the universe. and definitely in our universe with this tree. So I'm going around and trimming away. Samson, my tortoise, is just treading my feet right now. He will often get some cuttings if I'm doing olives or Chinese elms or a mulberry. He likes eating the shoots of those, so he thinks he's going to get a little snack. So he's standing at my feet right now. Where is he? Come back here, Samson. Here he is. Oh. This is Samson, my little sulcata rescue. Say hi, Samson. He's on his way. I will go through these and thin these out. But for now, it's middle of summer. I fertilized these. I've been away for a week and I come back and they're all grown out so much. So I just had to knock them back a little bit. Otherwise, the interiors will start dying out. And I also lose growth. I should have put these in bonsai pots earlier this year before it got hot. But I just fell off my list of things to do. That's probably something I'll do in the fall when it starts cooling down. I'll put this in its first bonsai pot. Let's go through, make sure you've tipped everything. If you haven't tipped something, you're just going to waste time on length of growth. And then you'll notice too that it's when you start going in and finding the crossing stuff because you haven't cut it and it's darting through everything else. Now, that stuff can work, but it can also create problems for you later down the road because it's replacing a branch that you would keep. And now, although it's filled in, now you have to grow something else in its place because that crossing branch is not exactly what you need. It doesn't help your structure long term. Give you a bit of a comb over effect, which can be very useful to make your trees look pretty and also for your healthy trees sometimes, just to have a nice full canopy rather than taking everything off that doesn't belong. You can do things in sections. They call them sacrifice branches. And sometimes a sacrifice branch can be just there for beauty, as well as sometimes just for the growth and health of the tree. The reason why I'm going over this again, I'm noticing that some of the tips I haven't gotten, and then some of the internodes are a little bit long. An internode is the section between the leaves. And also practice some directional pruning where we can. And just going over this. Just leaving a couple of new leaves and trying to create some little pads as we go. I'm trying not to cut off anything below an intersection where multiple branches come out, because that kind of shows me where I cut last time. Sometimes you have to, but I really try not to do that because then you're just cutting off all that growth you've worked hard for. Sometimes you have to, just because that's the way the cookie crumbles, because you left that branch on there before for a sacrifice perhaps, or to get that area of the tree healthier. So there is a will and a way to do everything. There's 150,000 different strategies to get to the same result in bonsai, depending on the species of the plant, where you live, what your weather's like, what time of the year you're doing. There's so many variables. So it's really good to have someone in your local area that you can talk to and work on, and basically only have one really strategy for a tree at one time from one person. Multiple strategies from different people that sometimes can actually counteract what you're trying to get to in the first place. Especially when you're new in bonsai, you're trying all these different techniques, and sometimes you're trying them too much on the same tree, and then you start having problems, or the technique isn't working for you, or worse, you lose the tree. Be very warned that the weather and conditions can also change what time of year you do something on a tree. In conditions where they have a much shorter summer, they have to be a lot more careful about their timings of things, whereas where we have longer summers, things like Southern California, you can actually do things, leave it longer, or you can get like an extra cutting time, extra growth time in the same year, because our winters are so much milder and come on so much later and clean up so much earlier. We had a 95-degree day here in February this year, so things just started booming straight away. All my azaleas started running, and I didn't really get a great flower show this year because the leaves started too soon, and a lot of flowers didn't open because of the heat wave. Dunno, heat wave. So I believe they're having right now in Europe. You don't want to go to a country that doesn't have air conditioning when it's in the 40s. All right, the branch comes down the side. I'm just going to take that off. This tree is now cleaned up and ready for another little grow out. So this is not final. It's just the beginning. Love bonsai.